dad's music. I was weaned on harsh political alt-rock, bands like LCD Sound System, The Hold Steady, Father John Misty, and most of all, Ted Leo and the Pharmacists. They made what counts among both mine and my dad's all-time favorite albums, an album called Shake the Sheets. In a lot of ways, I see myself and the world through this album. It's about frustration with the state of things and learning to deal with that and keep moving on. And it contains a lyric that describes my worldview more eloquently than I ever could. If you do everything you can, then babe, that's more than a start. This sentiment evokes my feelings on my happiness, my family, and my government. For example, there's a story that I told in one of my Rocket Boys essays. Now, I was in 6th grade at the time. I was very involved in the junior high's musical theater productions, and I had the biggest crush on a boy in the cast. Now, we were having our cast party, and I was standing there making myself available in case he wanted to talk to me, when I saw him walk over to a girl in the cast and ask her if she wanted to be his girlfriend. Now, this is a pretty silly story now, but back in the day, I was crushed, and it kind of changed my worldview in a way. It turned me into somebody who really lived by that lyric. In the story, this was the first time where I had seen how simple inaction not just gave me no advantage, how it gave me a distinct disadvantage. It turned me into somebody who was less likely to wait around and deliberate. The day after our field trip, when Mr. B talked to us about not being engaged, maybe this was why that hit home so much for me. I had once again seen myself being too scared of peer rejection to be the person I wanted to be and do the things I wanted to do. Maybe this time it was because I was worried that people thought poorly of me because I was talkative instead of thinking that a boy wouldn't like me. But those fears seem to be made of the same stuff. On the other hand, there's my family. Now, I'm a middle sibling. I have an older brother and a younger sister. And because of issues in my childhood, I maybe had a larger hand in raising my younger sister than maybe I should have. Now, she's selfish like little kids are, and sometimes it's hard for me to make time for her. You know, I have school, I have comedy club, I do homework, I make dinner, and then she wants to play. That can be a little hard to manage. When we were reading Tuesdays with Maury, the passage that stuck with me the most was when he was talking about monotony and his fear of people getting lost in their need-tos. That's something I feel a lot in my life. The only things I really love and want are my comedy writing and my little sister. And I worry about neglecting those things. The album Shake the Sheets is something I listen to a lot when I'm feeling lost and depressed like this. The song specifically that lyric comes from describes the feeling of loss and depression and getting back into your determination by starting with what you can do. Some days all I can do is to tell my little sister that I love her, but I keep going knowing that when I do everything I can, that's more than a start. Finally, there's the subject of the song at hand, government. The album was released in the build-up to the 2004 election. In the song, that feeling of loss and depression is helped by protesting. The songwriter identifies that as what he can do to cause change in the world. Maybe that's why one day I want to go into government. I see that going into government could be a way where I could extend my radius of doing everything I can and maybe really help people. But even as I want to change the world, first and foremost, I need to change myself. Sometimes our school system can tell us that we're not worth things if we're not doing it all. That if we can't get a 4.0 and be involved in a sport and a club and work part-time, then we're not doing enough. We get that hammered into us, but as I've looked for my happiness, as I've loved my family, as I've worried about my government, and as I've listened to a lot of music, I've tried to look for the truth. And the truth is, as far as I can see it, all we can do is as much as we can. And babe, that's more than a start. Thank you.